Okay, good afternoon everybody. Thank you for attending this meeting of the licensing panel on Wednesday the 5th of November 2025. Before we make a start, I would like to run through some housekeeping rules. There are no planned fire alarms, so if the alarm sounds, please leave via the emergency exits, which are here and here. The toilets are outside the room down to the left if anyone needs to use them. Can I please ask that all mobiles are either put on silent or turned off? Thank you. This meeting will be live streamed on YouTube, so I ask all parties to please use the microphones when they're speaking. If there's any trouble with that, we'll show you how to use them. It's not a problem. I will now ask all parties to this hearing to introduce themselves. I'll start with myself, Councillor James Gleeson, Chair, Licensing and Public Safety.
Chris Lomax, Walton-Dale East.
Hilary Bedford, Walton-Dale East.
Sushman solicitor on the legal team.
Josh Lonsdale, the bar manager and co-owner of the 1896 Lounge.
I'm Catherine Longsdale. I'm Catherine Longsdale, co-owner of the 1969 bar.
Kelly Williams, I'm a resident of Newsom Street.
William Jackson, I'm a resident on Newsom Street.
Samantha Jackson, I'm a resident on Newsom Street.
I'll now outline the hearing procedure. Well, there's quite a few parts to this, so I'll get through them as quickly as I can. So initially, our licensing officer will outline the application and any relevant representations. The applicant will then be invited to make any representations in support of their application, and then we will permit questions to the applicant from the panel or any other members in the room. The other parties in attendance will be invited to put forward any information in support of their objection. Questions to the parties will then be permitted from the panel and the applicant. So back and forth with the questions. I will then offer the applicant in light of any representations if they wish to amend their application. The other parties will be invited then to sum up. The applicant will then be invited to sum up. The licence holder will then be invited to sum up. I will then ask our legal representatives if there are any matters to be raised or resolved before the hearing is closed for deliberations. All parties and officers who are not directly supporting the committee will then be excluded from the meeting as we enter our deliberations. All parties will be issued with a detailed notice of the decision within 5 working days after this hearing. If you are not satisfied with that decision, you have the right of appeal to the Magistrates' Court within 21 days. Okay, is that okay for everyone? Right, we'll now start the meeting. Coral, do we have any apologies?
No apologies, Chair.
Thank you. Declarations of interest. Does anyone have any interest to declare? I'll just outline them. If a member has a pecuniary interest, they must withdraw from the meeting. Normally, they should leave the room before the business starts to be discussed. If you do, however, have the same right to speak as a member of public and may remain in the room to enable you to exercise that right and then leave immediately. In either case, you must not seek to improperly influence a decision on that matter. Does anybody have any declarations? No? All good. A copy of the procedure to be followed has been included in the agenda pack for the meeting and it's already been outlined. Okay, item 4. New premises licence application for the 1896 Lounge. Could I please ask our licence manager, Chris Ward, to briefly outline the application?
Okay, thank you, Chair. So, the hearing today is to determine an application submitted under Section 17 of the Licensing Act 2003 for a new premises licence for 55 Hough Lane, Leyland. Members are requested to determine the application under Section 18 of the Licensing Act 2003 and in line with Section 35.4 of the Council Statement of Licensing Act 2003 policy. Where relevant representations are made to a new premises licence concerning the undermining of the licensing objectives, the licensing authority will determine the application via a hearing. As such, we are here today. In line with the statutory guidance under Section 182 of the Licensing Act, representations are only relevant if they are relevant to undermining at least one of the 4 licensing objectives and are not frivolous or vexatious. Section 21 of the report contains the relevant sections of the statutory guidance referring to what's counted as a relevant objection. So the applicant has applied for a licence with the following licensable activities. So we've got live music, Sunday to Thursday, 11 a.m. till 23:30. Friday to Saturday, 11 a.m. till 12:30 at night. And then Christmas Eve, they've asked for non-standard timings there for Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve and bank holidays of 11 till 2 a.m. Recorded music indoors only, that is Sunday to Thursday, 11 in the morning till 23:30. Friday and Saturday, that is 11 till 12:30 midnight at night. Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve and bank holidays, 11 till 2 again on non-standard timings. Supply of alcohol has been applied for Sunday to Thursday, 11 till 11. Friday and Saturday, 11 till 12:30. Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve and bank holidays again, non-standard timings of 11 till 2 in the morning. The premises opening hours, Sunday to Thursday, 11 in the morning till 12:30 at night, and Friday and Saturday, 11 in the morning till 1:30 at night. And again, standard timing, non-standard non-timings are Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve and bank holiday, 11 in the morning till 2 a.m. I can confirm the application has been correctly advertised in line with the Licensing Act 2003 hearing regulations. And the applicant has submitted a supplementary document which can be found attached as supplementary document 2. This contains a list of conditions offered up by the applicant which they feel will mitigate any concerns raised by the representations received. I can confirm that no representations against the application have been received from any of the responsible authorities, with responses being received from the police, Lancashire Fire and Rescue, planning, self-rebel licensing, trading standards and environmental health, all coming back with no objections to the application. We do have 2 relevant representations which have been received from interested parties, one of which is a petition. It's under the Licensing Act 2003. Petitions are accepted, but only what is called the instigator under the Act of the petition is invited to speak today, and only allowed to speak. They're the only person who's been sent a copy of the report as well. Members are reminded that representations which relate to planning, highways and non-licensing issues raised by objections to the application should not be taken into consideration of a decision. The premises itself has previously been granted planning permission in 2019 to be a drinking establishment, where all planning considerations have been taken into account, and the hearing today is to consider for a licence to be granted to perform licensable activities at the premises. So as a licensing authority, we must carry out our function with view to promoting the licensing objectives. In carrying out those functions, the authority must also have regard to its own statement of licensing policy published under Section 5 of the Licensing Act and any guidance issued by Secretary of State under Section 182 statutory guidance. Section 18 of the Licensing Act sets out the steps which must be taken. So the options to members are to grant the licence subject to any timings or conditions the licensing authority consider appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives, to exclude any licensable activity which the application may relate, or to refuse the specific person as a designated premises supervisor, to grant the application in its application form, or to reject the application completely. Okay, thank you, Chair.
The statement in advance, but thank you. If there's anything you want to add extra, feel free, now's your time.
That's fine. I'll speak on our behalf. So I'm the co-owner and will be one of the bar managers at the establishment in Hopeful. So the purpose of that statement was to demonstrate how willing we are to work with you guys as well, and work with the community to make this a success. It's very much we want to clarify that the lounge will not operate in the same way as 55. It's not going to be the same establishment. They focus business model on high volume, loud music and drinking. That's not the concept for the 1896 lounge. It's going to be a premium, small capacity cocktail and lounge bar, designed with more of the mature clientele as well, with more of a relaxed and social atmosphere. So if you go and look at the local cocktail bars in Manchester and Manchester, Liverpool, for example, the Alchemist and places like that, that is where we are aiming for, and that is the hope. We'll be providing seated service. There's going to be no no dance floor, DJs or external speakers. The music will be acoustic when we have got live music running. The reason the timings for the licence have been asked is just in case anything overruns, so we don't upset you guys on Newsom Street. That was the aim, just so then we can mitigate any complaints coming through and work with you. It's not a nightclub style venue and there'll be no late night promotions. Within the agreement, we spoke about the one of the prevention of crime and disorder, about the CCTV and security. That's already all been purchased and ready to go into place as soon as. An incident book will be there for any refusals, disturbances or any antisocial behaviour, so we can start logging that and figure out what the trends are and see what we can do to mitigate that. There will be a lot of staff training involved, and I've already started the process of that with staff, with conflict management and de-escalation, refusal of service, challenge in 25, and the Ask Angela and Ask Clive campaign will be also there as well. There's going to be zero tolerance on drugs and weapons. We've already said that toilets will be checked every 30 minutes from the moment we open to the moment we close. With that, police and pub watch will already be part of the pub watch as soon as we open, so that will start. So that means that if there is anything that we need to know about, we'll know about before it gets to us. Public safety, as we've said, there's been no objections from any of the local authorities that could have done, so we'll be fully compliant with all public safety. I know there was a bit about deliveries and stock. We have got limited delivery windows of 9 to 5, so normal business hours. So to work with that and working with the local high street. We do know that there is limited parking on Huff Lane, so we have got a backup plan if we can have the barrels and stuff delivered to a different venue, a different site if need be, and we can move them over. So they'll be delivered to a personal address of myself, and we'll move them in a van if need be, if it does start causing issues. So we have thought about a backup plan for that for you. We really want to work out, we've already got protected mats in the barrels, so there shouldn't be any other loud banging anymore, hopefully. We have worked out, we don't roughly know how much we're going to be taking in on stock yet, but we'll be working on once one barrel's in, we'll be replacing one of those. Prevention of public nuisance, so we will be putting a full noise management plan in place, which has already started. Doors and windows will be kept closed anyway, as it was in the previous. There's no external speakers or outdoor amplified sound. At the moment, we are looking the soundproofing. We are looking at the moment. I don't know if anyone knows, with 55 it is a bit of a shell at the moment, and there is ongoing issues with that, so we're not fully in, so we just need to look at that. We are happy, if need be, to put a noise cancelling machine if it does get too high, that it'll automatically cut off. If we need to, we would like to work with you first before we have to do that, but if that's something that we need to do, then that's fine. There'll be background music monitored regularly. Live performances we're hoping will end by 11, Sunday to Thursday. Sorry, I just need a drink. And midnight, Friday to Saturday. With that, we'd asked for extra hours over Christmas, New Year, and Christmas, New Year, and that time of year, just to mitigate anything, and just so we can put a bit of an atmosphere back into Leyland as well, and really work on that. There'll be lots of different things. We've got a new customer dispersal policy, so gradual light and the reducing of volume. We'll have night signs out that says please respect our neighbours, things like that. The outdoor smoking in area, there's the designated front. There's going to be no permitted drinks outside after 10. So there shouldn't be the loud clanging of glasses and things like that. We will limit that drinks will be kept inside after 10. Outdoor seating will close by 10 on weekdays, and from that and weekends, so it will shut then. So the seating will be brought in or left, but no one will be allowed to use it, but they'll still be able to smoke out the front. The pest and drainage management, we can't really do much about because we don't know what we've not been in yet, but we will put the monthly pest control inspections. We have to do that for health and safety, and quarterly drainage maintenance if we need to. For protection from children of harm, there was nothing mentioned in that, but there'll be everyone under 25 will be challenged for ID. There'll be refusal logs and an incident record, and anyone under the age of 18 won't be permitted in after 9 o'clock except for any family and private functions. No, I think that's it. Everything else is in there. The only thing that I was going to mention is that we do want to work on community engagement and being good neighbours with you. So we will give you the dedicated contact details of myself and Catherine for you to be able to touch if there is any issues. And we'll want to bring a get to know you meeting for us once a month, so you can come in, we can have chats and see where things go. All right.
Okay, thank you for that. So, do any members of the panel have any questions for the applicant? No. I have one myself. I'm just curious about the noise management plan. That seems to be one of the big problems. Can you outline if you've got any details of that or what you intend to do about that?
I can do, just let me find. Sorry, I've saved it somewhere. I'm just. So it's quite a lengthy document, so I don't want to go into it in too much detail. There's a couple of different sections. There's the music and sound control. So the DPS and duty manager will monitor sound levels regularly throughout. So we've already looked at going down the street with one of the little sound devices, so we can keep checking what the sound levels are from the venue from all sides, so I can keep an eye on where speakers may need to be changed, where we need to look at stuff. There's stuff on customer noise management, outdoor area controls, delivery and waste, so we're not going to be putting waste out at once we close. It'll be done when we reopen in the morning. It'll be stored inside the venue. There will be a complaints procedure and details will be logged in a noise book, and we've got a lot of staff training going in, because my background is from running pubs from across Stoke and Staffordshire, and things like that, so there's quite a lot with staff training as well.
Okay, thank you for that. Just check, any questions from any panel members? Okay. So, do any members of other parties have any questions for the applicant?
To me, it doesn't sound
Could
like
you use...
anything. Sorry. To me, it doesn't sound like there's anything different to what 55s were doing. They weren't doing loud music, it was acoustic music. There's 7 houses between where I live and the building, and I could feel the vibrations. So to me, it doesn't sound like you're doing anything different to what they were doing. I don't understand how the pub across the road has to have everyone out their beer garden by 9 o'clock, yet you're asking to keep people out there till 10. You're asking for music till 2 o'clock in the morning. It's ridiculous on a residential street. It's a very small building.
Excuse me, can I just stop you there? Can we just limit it to questions for now? If you have a question for him, I know you have a statement to make later, but if you have a question that you can ask at this point, that's...
Yeah, I'm not convinced that this noise management is going to work, so it would need to be a lot more detailed for us to be happy with it, because you're doing exactly the same as what they were doing.
So I totally understand that. You can't paint us with the same brush, and I really want to make that relevant there. I'm happy to share the noise management plan. It is in its first draft stage at the moment, and it hasn't been drafted further, just because we're currently waiting to get in the venue, so I can't do any specific work to it. I've worked previously with noise venues. I know about this. The speaker system that was in 55 is going to be completely different. It's not going to be a full sound system. It's going to be very much a small system, which we're looking at with a set of about 6 speakers. With that in mind, acoustics, because of the fixed seating that was in there previously, that's all being changed and taken out, so we can actually move where the acts and stuff are going to be located around that venue, which will reduce the noise entirely, because they won't be near the glass fronts, which is where a lot of vibrations come from. However, for noise to have been that loud and vibrations caused, that means that they have to have been going over their noise levels dramatically within that. Which we're not planning on doing, and that's why we've offered to put the noise cut out. That will cut that straight out if need be.
Chair. May I just jump in there, Chair? Could that be a condition which is offered up that must be in agreement with environmental health before the premises opens? I think that would be a good idea, that it may mitigate that concern, whether it's going to be at the same level, and if it's set by, obviously, a qualified person to set those noise levels. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, Sash.
Sorry, through you, Chair. I just wanted to remind the panel that this hearing is related to a new premises application. Any sort of comments, opinions related to the previous premises licence holder is not relevant.
My comments aren't based on premises holder, it's based on the actual plan of how you're going to run the business. It sounds exactly the same. There doesn't sound to be anything different to how they were doing it.
Okay, thank you. Obviously, there's a lot to be said here today. I agree that the sound should be monitored. We can get it in place before it opens so it can be checked, and I've also proposed that the sound levels will be checked at random intervals. I know you'll be checking yourself, but we'll sort that out. Okay, thank you, everyone. Can I please invite other parties, other representatives? I believe there's a representation. Chris, are you doing that one, or...?
Yes, Chair. So there's one representation where the representee couldn't attend, so I'll read that out for them. And then there's capable for one person to speak on behalf of the other representation where the members of the public are here today.
Okay, so should we do yours first, and then if the members of the public want to speak after that?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. So we've received a representation from Louise Haslam, and it basically states that she lives at 2 Newsom Street, which is just a few feet from the intended application. This would cause a big disturbance to myself and my 87-year-old mother who lives with me. The music will be heard through my closed bedroom windows, as it was when it was previously used for live music. Also, given the late times presented, it will create more cars parking and up and leaving, with car doors banging and the elevation of revellers' voices. This will be a huge disturbance to the peace and the sleeping, whether or not we're very up early for work or not. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Chris. Okay, and whoever's been nominated to speak, please.
I just wanted to bring up about the Noise Act 1996 and the allowance of music after 11 o'clock. Okay.
If I may, Chair,
If you can, yeah.
The Live Music Act came in, so in 2015 it was deregulated that premises don't need a licence before 11 o'clock to play regulated entertainment. After 11 o'clock, they do need a licence to perform regulated entertainment, so that's where that comes in. Prior to 2015, conditions and timings could be imposed before 11 o'clock, but after 11 o'clock, that's when it becomes a licensable activity.
Okay, does that answer your question? Is that it from representations from members of the public, or we can only have one speaker, unfortunately?
Sorry. The other issue for me is around the parking. It's an absolute nightmare as it is on that street, and saying that they'll encourage people to use the car parks doesn't work. It doesn't work during the day, so it's definitely not going to work at night.
Personally, that's a planning issue from when it was granted. There's nothing I can do about that. All I'm going to do is encourage customers to use parking. Normally when we do go drinking, and customers do, they tend to not take a car. They tend to walk into town or grab a taxi or Uber, especially from where I've worked previously. And what
You've worked in Manchester and Liverpool.
No, I've worked in Stoke and Staffordshire I've worked
across each other. It makes it very difficult for us to follow them.
I've worked across Stoke and Staffordshire for the past and before I came back up here before COVID for 7 years across various pubs and small establishments, from little towns like Leyland to bigger cities like Manchester and Liverpool. So I've worked across. It is irrelevant. I can't do anything about it. I just want to show that I'm trying my best to help out where I can.
Do we have any questions for the applicants? Do anyone from the panel have any questions for representatives?
I don't.
No. Okay, so the next part of the process is, would the applicant like to make any changes to the application in light of what have been discussed? I know we discussed about the noise levels and how we're concerned about those, and I know you have a noise management plan in place.
There isn't anything we'd like to change at this stage, I'll be honest. The idea behind the longer timings was to mitigate if anything comes up where we run slightly over or things like that as well, to help protect not just them but also us, and really work together. I don't want to be sat here in however many months' time with a slap of things for noise and because we've come out of our licensing gap, that's all.
Thank you. So, can I ask any member of the public to sum up their objections?
I think our objections are mainly going to be around noise. The fact that there is, as Louise said, opposite her, there's a 94-year-old man that lives there. He's the closest house to where they are. So that really needs to be addressed, because the noise, it was horrendous, and we couldn't go back to that. And music till 2 o'clock on a Christmas Eve with a street that's got children isn't acceptable, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you. To the parties, can I ask the applicant just to sum up as well, please? Keep it short.
To sum up from us, we want to really just showcase we're trying to work with you. We want to work with you. We don't want to work against you. I think that we're happy with putting a noise canceller in for that. The only time that I think we would be New Year. New Year is going to be the biggest one. Leyland will also benefit from it, and there's also bars across the local high street that run on the same operating hours as us, with the same conditions. There is, if you look at Market Ale House, there is, if you look at the Ship, which is also on the corner.
Excuse me, can we just
from
wait until the
that,
applicant's finished and then...
There is a lot of establishments within that area that run on the same licensing hours, which is what we've gone with, the same operating model of ours, so we can help also manage the flow of people down the high street as well, to make sure that not every venue is overfilled, so we can start working with other owners as well.
Thank you. If there's something else, I'll give you a chance.
The Market Ale House is nowhere near as close to local housing as this is, and the Ship has also had ongoing issues. Prior to the current owner, fair enough, but there's been ongoing issues with noise, complaints from the neighbours.
Okay, thank you. I've already discussed with such that there's no legal issues to discuss. The hearing is now finished effectively. I'll ask our licensing officers, applicant responsible authorities, light holder to leave the room, and we will enter our deliberations. A decision notice will be provided with all interested parties within 5 working days. Any party who is aggrieved by the panel's decision has the right of appeal to the Magistrates' Court within 21 days. Okay, thank you very much for attending, everybody.